In this video, I'd like to go over different variations of the basic data types: lists, dictionaries, and tuples. Let's start off talking about lists. Lists are tools to store a string of variables. So, just like in the previous section, we stored hello in a string of characters. You can store a string of strings. Say you wanted to store a list of your friends. That list would also be stored in an indexed fashion into a list. So let's open up PyCharm and try to manipulate lists. Okay, now that we have PyCharm open, let's make our first list. You'd simply type, say you wanted to make that list of your friends. You simply type friends is equal to brackets. Say your friend number 1 is Eric, Ryan, Matt, Oscar, and Toby. So notice here that the list is invoked by creating a variable, setting it equal to something, and you invoke it, and you bring up the functions of a list by starting off a bracket, and then you input a string. It doesn't necessarily have to be a string, but for now we'll just use strings to keep it simple. And then you separate each string using a comma, and then you close it off using a close bracket. Okay. So to access your friends' names, you have to in the command console. You have to remember the position or index of the individual's name in the list, with the first position being 0. So Eric would be at the 0 index position. And the 5th position would be actually the 4th index position, which is Toby. Now let's go ahead and try to access items in this list. Alright, I've brought up the console on the bottom, the console area on the bottom. And let's access, say we wanted to print the entire list, or show the entire list in the console area. You simply type print and then friends. And let's run the program. And as you can see, Eric, Ryan, Matt, Oscar, and Toby pop up. But say I wanted to access one particular name. Say I wanted to access Ryan. Ryan is in index position 1. And to grab that particular name, you'd have to access a range for Ryan. So you could type a bracket and then put in index position 1. So 1. And let's run that. And down here, Ryan pops up. Now say you wanted to access a range of items. Say you wanted to access Matt to Toby. Let's say Toby, for example. You'd have to type in the range +1. So, let's see. Toby is in index position 4, but the way the function works is you have to do one index position afterwards to grab the item in the index position before. So you'll see what I'm talking about. Say I want to do Matt through Oscar. Matt starts at index position 2. So we want to grab index position 2 to index position 5, which is one after Toby. Now let's see what this prints. So here you get Matt, Oscar, and Toby. Again, key is you type a colon and then the index position after Toby, close brackets, and then you print out Matt, Oscar, Toby. So let's move on and look at a different data type, and that data type is called a dictionary. So let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit. Dictionaries are basically a list of keys and values. For instance, if we wanted to use shorthand for months, you can just shorten January to just Jan, Jan. And how you do this would be simply select a variable, any variable, call it months to keep it simple. You invoke it using curly brackets. And then say you want to call January Jan, and then colon January, and then use a comma, and then Feb is shorthand for February. And so I'm going to do the rest of this off screen. Okay, so I've finished the list of the months. And so let's try to see what happens if I want to print the months. So let's go ahead and the way you would do this is say I wanted to print months. It would be sort of like how you invoked the list up here. Nope, that's not right. That, close brackets, and say we want to get February. All right, so let's go ahead and erase this and run this. And see down here, we only typed in Feb, but then it prints out February. So it's a good way of, how would I would say it? It's a good way of doing shorthand. Now let's say we wanted to do something different. Say we wanted to error proof this, right? Say the user would put in something different besides these 12 keys. All right, say we want to call up or get February in a different way, or a different month. Say we want to call up August. There's a different way we can can call up the function. We can say simply months.get, and then in here you say February. All right, and let's run the program. And you still call up February. Now this is powerful because you can error proof this by saying if the user calls up something different than these 12 keys, you can say not found. So if I put in something that's not one of these 12 keys, say I put in LOL, then you run the program it doesn't throw up an error message, but then it throws up not found. So that's a pretty cool function. Let's move on to the next data type, and that would be tuples. So we've gone over lists and dictionaries. Now let's go over tuples. Tuples are like dictionaries in the sense that they are indexed, but unlike dictionaries, they are ordered and unchangeable, while dictionaries are unordered and changeable. Tuples are called by writing round brackets versus curly brackets. So let's go ahead and make a tuple by saying, say, coordinates and then equal to, say, 4, 5. So that's a tuple. Say we want to access the 5 in that tuple, we'd simply put coordinates and then put the 1 position and then run, and we get the 5. So let's take this a step further and say you wanted to make a list of friends, but this time would be in a tuple. So let's type this a tuple. And let's use that same list of friends, right? You want Eric, Ryan, Matt, Oscar, Toby. Now, if I wanted to access Matt, simply print this tuple, or sorry, a tuple, and it would be Matt is in the second index position, third over. So I'd put 2, and let's run. Get Matt. Same concept as a list, is if I wanted to also access the range, say Matt through Toby, I have to put a :5 here. You see Matt, Oscar, and Toby pop out. So the main difference between tuples and lists are exactly as I said before, is that tuples you cannot change, and it's but it's ordered like a list. So it would be hard if you want to put variables in a tuple that you want to be changed. It'd probably be a better strategy if you use a list instead. And we can think about this a little bit more when you get into more complex program designs and what exactly you're trying to accomplish. And that concludes this section's video. I encourage you to play around with these data types and experiment with what you cannot do with these variables, especially after the next section related to user inputs into the console.